You know, we're surrounded by these just incredible feats of engineering. But what if I told you the very blueprint we've been using, it's broken? Today, we're diving into something called green engineering, a completely new way of thinking that's redesigning our future to be smarter, cleaner, and way more sustainable. And this really gets to the heart of the matter, right? I mean, think about it. Engineering gave us skyscrapers, smartphones, you name it. But it also gave us a ton of pollution, waste, and used up resources. So the big question is, can the same field that kind of got us into this mess also be the one to get us out?
Yeah, for the longest time, the goal was simple. Make it work, make it bigger, make it faster. The environmental impact, that was kind of like an afterthought. You know, a problem for later. An unintended consequence we just have to manage. Well, later is now, and those consequences are the huge challenges we're facing. It's pretty clear we need a total reset in how we approach design.
And this is so important to get. The problem isn't engineering itself. It's not the skill or the science or the creativity. Not at all. It's the old, outdated blueprint everyone was using. A blueprint that just didn't factor in the planet's limits. So, okay, if the old plan is broken, what's the new one?
All right, so this is where we turn the corner. We've talked about the problem. Now let's get to the solution. We need a whole new philosophy, a much smarter way to do things. And that, my friends, is green engineering. And listen, this isn't just about, slapping a solar panel on something and calling it a day. No, this is a complete, fundamental rethinking of everything right from the very beginning.
So what is green engineering really? Well, at its heart, it's about designing things to solve problems without creating a whole new set of environmental ones. And that right there is the game changer. It's all about being proactive from the get-go, not reactive after the mess has already been made.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. You can see the massive difference in thinking. The old way, it was all about treatment. Okay, we made a mess, how do we clean it up? But the new blueprint, it's all about prevention. How do we design this so there's no mess to begin with? See the difference? We're going from using up stuff that runs out to using stuff that doesn't, and from designing for the landfill to actually designing for a product's afterlife.
Okay, so how do we actually do this stuff? It sounds good, but what's the plan? Well, this new blueprint is built on 12 core principles. You can think of them as like the DNA of smart, sustainable design. Now, we're not going to bore you by reading all 12, don't worry. Instead, we've grouped them into 3 big themes that really get to the heart of it all.
First up, and this is probably the most important one, prevention first. It's exactly what it sounds like. We're talking about designing things to be safe from the start, not just sticking a warning label on later. It's about stopping waste before it even exists, and it means designing things to meet our actual needs without all the extra junk. You know what I'm talking about. Like when you get a massive box for something tiny, yeah, it's about getting rid of that.
Okay, theme number 2 is all about life cycle thinking. This means engineers have to think about a product's entire life, from the moment it's made to its next life. We call it cradle to cradle. So you're asking questions up front, like, can we take this apart easily to recycle it? Does it need to last forever in a landfill, or just as long as we need it? And the big one, what happens when we're done with it? Is there a plan for it to be reused or refurbished?
And our third and final theme is resource wisdom. Basically, it's about being super smart with our stuff. We want to maximize efficiency, so we're using less energy, fewer materials. It's also about creating these cool closed-loop systems where the waste from one process literally becomes the food for another. And of course, the obvious one, powering our world with renewables, sun, wind, you know the drill. Instead, with stuff we burn once, and it's gone forever.
All right, so these ideas all sound great on paper, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, the cool thing is, green engineering is already happening all around you. Seriously, from the stuff in your grocery cart to the electricity powering your home. Let's start with something simple, your groceries. When a company like Grace Kennedy in Jamaica decides to redesign their packaging to use way less material, boom, that's green engineering in action. That's a textbook example of that principle, meet need, minimize excess. Super simple, but it saves resources and cuts down on a ton of waste.
Or how about this? Check your recycling bin. You ever peel a label off a plastic bottle and it comes off perfectly clean, no sticky residue? That is not an accident. That is an engineer somewhere thinking ahead, applying that design for separation principle. They did that so the bottle can actually be recycled properly, instead of just getting thrown out.
And this stuff scales up. I mean, way up. We can go from a bottle label to massive infrastructure projects. Look at something like the Wigton Wind Farm in Jamaica. That is a huge, perfect example of renewable rather than depleting. Every single turn of those giant blades is power being generated without burning up our planet's resources.
And this table just pulls it all together. Solar water heaters? That's renewable energy and maximizing efficiency. Eco-friendly buildings that harvest rainwater and use natural cooling? That's integrating flows. And the whole market for refurbished phones and laptops? That's design for afterlife in a nutshell. Every single one of these is the new blueprint at work in the real world.
So what does all this tell us? It shows that green engineering isn't some tiny niche thing just for green people. No, this is the future of engineering, period. Look, the challenges we face are massive, there's no doubt. But this new blueprint, it gives us a real, practical path forward, because the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we actively design.
And I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. This isn't about waiting for some single magic bullet technology to save us. It's about a complete shift in how we think. It's about designing whole systems, from a tiny bottle all the way up to an entire city, so that they work with the planet, instead of fighting against it.
So if there is one single thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Green engineering is about moving away from a reactive mindset where we're always cleaning up our own messes to a proactive one where we design with intention from the very start.
And so that leaves us with one last big question. A question for all of us, really. We have this new blueprint. We know the principles. The tools are there. So the only question left is, what are we going to choose to build with it? Thanks for watching.